principle of the scoring system is to use a small number of critical control points that measure a multitude of problems. It's got to be simple. You know, some of the auditing things that are coming out of Europe now, they're good for scientific use, but they're way too complicated to use out on the farm. The other thing is, it's not a paperwork audit. I'm not into paperwork. Boy, there's a lot of people who want to turn everything into bureaucracy and paperwork. I think the bureaucrats are going to take over the world. And I think another problem that makes it worse with things like, you got kids today that don't know what piglets and puppies look like, is I think it's really bad that our schools have taken out all the hands-on classes, you know, sewing, art, music, woodworking, welding, drawing, FFA, you know, Future Farmers of America, all of that kind of stuff. Because these kind of classes teach a resourcefulness and problem solving. I can't believe how ignorant a lot of people are today. I do a lot of autism talks, I talk to a lot of young parents, and I see a lack of resourcefulness. Also, I talk about things like maybe try the kid on a wheat-free and dairy-free diet. That really does help some of the autistic children. And I've had parents ask me, well, what kind of products are dairy? They don't know that ice cream is a dairy product. I'm not kidding. You're talking about stuff this basic. They don't even have enough knowledge to look it up on Google. You know, they've got Google right there in front of them, and they don't think to use it. See, one of the things I learned from all the things I built as a child, I can remember trying to make a giant sail and put it on my red wagon, and that didn't work. And then I thought when I jumped off the swing, I could fly further if I tied a kite to my back. I tried that. That didn't work. And then there's other things that I designed that definitely did work. But doing these things teaches resourcefulness. All of my design work was based on art. And when I was a young child, my ability in art was really encouraged. And I was always encouraged to do a lot of different things in art. And what I have found with kind of these quirky Asperger kids, you know what? Half of Silicon Valley's got some degree of autism. I've done a lot of talks out in Silicon Valley, out in the Hollywood with the creative companies. Also, real high incidence of autistic kids, and unfortunately severe autistic kids that are not going to be going to college. But you have some of them that are visual thinkers like me, who think in photorealistic pictures. And the movie showed how I think, and showed it very, very accurately how I think. Another kind of mind is the music and math mind. These are going to be your programmers. I just read in today's Wall Street Journal that the tech industry needs programmers. I just suggested to one family that maybe they ought to introduce their 13-year-old to programming. You know, now is the time to do it. But my audit systems, I go out and actually observe simple things, like how many cattle fall down when they come out of the squeeze chute. I mean, that's simple stuff. If handling's bad, you're going to have a lot of cattle falling down. It's not a paperwork audit. Oh, man, when I worked in the construction industry in the 80s and the early 90s, supervising the installation of some of my projects, oh, paperwork, cost estimates, man, the suits wanted to have a 2-year payout on a capital thing. That's just ridiculous. So we just took the plumbing and the electric out of the estimate because we figured the suits were too stupid to find that. And we got our system. So playing around with paperwork, done that, been there. Okay. You know, I also could measure with my scoring system how making a very simple improvement greatly improved the handling. Like cattle don't like air blowing in their face. So I got rid of the air blowing in their face, and then we didn't have as much vocalization due to electric prod use. I could measure that. Or this is an indoor for pigs, and I've seen the same thing happen with cattle. We're indoors. So now the eyes are acclimatized to being inside, and I can put lights up on things, and I add a light, I can reduce the prod use from 38% down to 4%. Now that's not going to work in a corral that's outside because the sun is so much brighter than any electric light. Or another one where I put a light on an entrance. This is another thing, false floor. In my restrainer system, I have my non-slip ramp that's just like the dip vat. The movie shows that exactly right. I have to say, the geek side of me likes the fact that they put all my projects in there absolutely accurately. I really did design a gate you could open up from a car when I was 15 years old. Took a lot of experimentation. But also in the restrainer, you've got to have the non-slip floor. This thing is 7 or 8 feet off the ground. So I've got to have a false floor in there so they don't see the visual cliff effect. The fear of falling. The fear of falling is a primal fear. I had a chance one time to go in a virtual reality room where they made it look like they were going to push me off a balcony. And boy, I just laid down on the floor. I knew it was fake. It was a stage set. I saw it before I put the headgear on. But the visual cliff effect is just so powerful that even though I knew it was fake, they weren't going to push me off this balcony. That is the visual cliff effect. And sometimes when a shadow is on the ground, cattle have got rotten depth perception. They're not sure if that's a hole in the ground. So they got to stop, take a little look, and then in another place they just reduced pressure on the neck, and that reduced the mooing. Well, here's an example of one of the lights I put up. I was amazed at how I could fix a lot of these big plants with moving smaller groups of animals. Boy, I can tell you that's a constant battle. Boy, they just don't like to walk. Putting lights up on dark entrances, moving lights to get rid of reflections, lots of cardboard, lots of duct tape, because the solid sides had to be put up in certain strategic locations. Otherwise, things wouldn't work at all.